Hello, this is Professor Werwath. I was asked to lay out some of the transportation options for students, in particular graduate level students, with some focus on McCormick. The transportation options on or near campus. The Northwestern campus in Evanston is roughly a little under a mile long. It straddles the west side of Lake Michigan. It's basically bordered by Sheridan Road, which actually not bordered, it bisects the campus. The tech building is technically east of Sheridan Road, and there are some office buildings on the west side of Sheridan Road. And when you get as far west as Ridge Avenue, you will find lots of housing options. But today I want to talk about maybe three or four different options for commuting and traveling, not just to campus, but from campus to downtown Chicago and to other points north and northwest and west of the campus. Ventra is your first option here. Ventra is they have a U Pass, which is basically a university pass for all the CTA lines, whether they're bus lines or elevated train lines. The elevated train line, as you can see on the in the middle picture here, is the CTA Purple Line. The Purple Line goes from Howard Street in Chicago all the way north to Linden Avenue in Wilmette, and it does stop. The closest stop to the tech building is the Noyes Street station, and I'll show you that on a map in a moment. NU Transit Via is actually what we call or used to call Safe Ride, and those are personal car rides available in the evening uh, inside the campus in Evanston. There is often a delay from anywhere from 10 to maybe 30 minutes before you can get a car, but you can access it through an app. So you push a button on an app, and these are free rides basically to help people feel safe and secure while they're on campus, while they're trying to get around campus. So I mentioned before that we straddle or we abut the lake. Lake Michigan is on the right of the campus. Northwestern University is this blue dot in the middle. Um, Noyes Street is just a little bit north of the center of campus, well, but it does lead straight into Tech. It's about 3 blocks away from Tech. So if you are near the Noyes Street station, you are very close to the Tech building and where most of the engineering courses are held. Um, some of the master's program courses are offered in the North Garage, which is just a little bit north of Noyes and a little bit east, getting even closer to the lake. And that's in the North Parking Garage facility. A lot of students like to live near Davis. Davis has got, in essence, the best transportation options by far within the entire city of Evanston, and I would argue within the entire North Shore. Why is that? The Davis Street Transportation Center has a CTA station right there, very easily walkable Metra station so that you can take a diesel locomotive into the city of Chicago as well as bus lines that go in almost every direction from Davis Street. So Davis is kind of a central hub. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you look at this zoom section here, Davis is right in the middle. You see Route 93 and 201. Those are CTA bus lines. And those bus lines will take you within the city of Evanston. In fact, I think the 201 will actually drop you right off in front of the tech building. So if you jump on the 201, usually from Ridge or someplace like Ridge or maybe Church Street. Let's see, where is Ridge? Ridge is over here on the left-hand side of this, close to the edge of the circle. So 201 will take you up and down Ridge and then ultimately down Sheridan Road towards the tech building. And right in front of the tech building, boom, there you are. So if you have a UPass, which grad students in McCormick typically do, you will get easy access to the tech building through 201. There's also campus buses. I'll talk about those a little bit later. There's also like I said, the L system, the elevated system. So if you take the L to Noyes Street, where is Noyes Street? Noyes Street is basically right here. You can see that button right below Central. And Noyes Street takes you straight into the tech building. It's 3 blocks away. So those are some of the transportation options. I guess I could also mention Pace is a suburban bus system that does not go into Chicago, but it takes you far to points north and northwest. So Highland Park, Glencoe, Schaumburg. Schaumburg would be the 208 bus. Highland Park would be the 213 bus, including the Botanic Gardens up in Glencoe. Um, the 250 bus will take you all the way to the airport. A lot of people don't know this, but you can take a public bus, the CTA bus, for $2.50 from Evanston to O'Hare. Not the fastest way to go. It'll take probably a little over an hour, but it's the cheapest way to go. I can't imagine. I mean, a cab might be $35 or 40. Even an Uber or Lyft would be about 35 or 40. So if you want to avoid those kind of charges, simply jump on the 250 bus, which will take you due west on Dempster Street. And Dempster Street is right here. So take you basically all the way into O'Hare Airport. So that's my recommendation. Um, a lot of people ask, should I buy a car? No, unless you have a long-term plan to be in Evanston or in Chicago, if you're willing to pay the parking prices and the fees that are associated with um, parking a car both on campus and at your house or your apartment house, as well as the gasoline and the taxes, you'll be much better off financially to simply use the public transportation that's there. I mentioned Metra before. These are diesel trains. Okay, the diesel train that goes to Evanston is called the UP North Line. It hugs the lake right here. It's this green line on the far right. Evanston has three stops, Main, Davis, and Central. Central would be probably a little bit closer to the football stadium and the hospital, Evanston Hospital. Davis is probably the closest to the campus, and Main Street is probably the closest you'll get to Chicago without being in Chicago. After that, you are in Chicago. So we're literally only like two train stops away from Chicago. Downtown is about a 25-minute ride from Davis. There are express trains that might get you there a little bit faster. You can also go up to Wisconsin, Kenosha, Wisconsin. Um, that would take probably closer to an hour. To get anywhere else on this system map, I hate to say this, you have to go into Chicago first, and then there's two train stations, Ogilvy and Union Station. The green line here, this UPN or UP North line, it's color coded green, but we don't call it green. It's called UP North. UP North goes into Ogilvy. If you want to take a train to St. Louis or Milwaukee or points west or east on a long distance Amtrak train, you'll have to go to Union Station. Union Station is an easy walk from Ogilvy Station. So once you're downtown Chicago, it's pretty easy to get around. There's a lot more buses. And like I said, it's about not even a block. I think you just cross the street and you're into Union Station. So these are the, what is this, like 11 lines? There's 11 lines that basically traverse the Chicago and the greater metropolitan Chicago area. I think this is the selling point for me about life in Evanston and life in Chicago. There are Northwestern shuttles, Evanston Loop, Campus Loop, Intercampus Shuttle. These will take you in different directions, directly on campus. If you think about Tech is right here, more or less in the middle, and it's serviced by the Campus Loop, the Evanston Loop, the Chicago Express, otherwise known as the Intercampus Shuttle, etc. So if you want to go to Old Orchard, there's something called the Shop and Ride, which is over in Skokie. That'll take you shopping. Typically, that runs on weekends. What this doesn't show is what is typically running in severe winter conditions, which is sometimes called the Frostbite Express. So those are additional buses as an overlay that run every 10 to 15 minutes. So the students don't get too cold, right? This is the intercampus shuttle. This is a picture in downtown Chicago across from the Lurie Children's Hospital, which is right next to the medical center. This is where you would get dropped off. If you take the intercampus shuttle, which is a very regular bus, I think it runs every 30 minutes, it will take you from the front of Tech Building to the front of the medical school in Streeterville in downtown Chicago. It's literally a walk away from the Magnificent Mile, the Northwestern Memorial Hospital, Lurie Children's Hospital. I mean, all of these amazing, Michigan Avenue, all these amazing places here are simply about a 35-minute bus ride away. So that is my introduction to transportation at Northwestern. Again, I don't recommend you buy a car. I don't recommend you lease a car. You can also get a car rented service or rental service called Zipcar. And actually, there's a Zipcar spot, usually with a car available on an hourly basis if you want to rent one for maybe shopping or maybe to check out something that you can't get easily to by bus. And I don't know what they charge, probably on the order of maybe 15 to $20 an hour. But if you have a driver's license, you want to rent a car for a couple hours, Zipcar is probably your best option after that. Okay. Otherwise, the maps are all online, including the Northwestern map, the CTA map, the Metra map. Your UPass is only good for CTA, so don't expect it to work on the Metra trains. Why do people take the diesel train? It's faster, it's more comfortable, it's quieter. Um, it feels more, I guess, professional, I guess. The um, the purple line can get a little loud, get a little clunky sometimes, and it's pretty hectic. I think the Metro train is a much more relaxing way to go. It's up to you. Metro, you'll have to pay, I'm thinking about $4 or so to get into the city, and back would be another $4. So that's the lay of the land when it comes to transportation. Hopefully that helps you quite a bit. Take care.